guys, my name is Alex and welcome to another Wynonna Earp recap video. Today I'm going to be recapping, that is a word that I just said, recapping season 2, episode 7. If you guys are new here, my recaps videos are essentially what it's called. I recap this video, so if you guys, the episode, so if you guys have not seen the episode, I do recommend watching that before watching this because there's going to be plenty of spoilers. Now, I do want to give a quick heads up. This video, I feel like, is going to be more talking about theories than actually recapping the episode. I'm going to talk quickly about things like highlights in the episode, but then there's like a couple main theories that I want to talk about. Yeah, I'm excited. We're getting into the juicy bit of the season. We're halfway through the season, so we got shit to talk about. Okay, so let's start off with Drunk Nicole because we have to talk about Drunk Nicole just quickly because she's just, I loved it so much. It was everything that I thought I wanted plus more. I love Nicole, but Drunk Nicole is like a whole new level of, And I'm so glad we got like another Wynonna Nicole episode, focused episode. We sort of got like a hint of it in 107, which was when the start of my bro TP ship, the why not ship, the bro TP, not OTP, bro TP, started, and I just they're just like amazing together. They're just like such, like, typically they'd be like such clashing like personalities, right? But because they both love Waverly so much, they sort of mix. They've like found a way to mix, you know? They've found a way to I don't know. I love Wynonna and Nicole together. And I nearly died when they're leaving the bar and Waverly's found them and she's just like, Nicole nearly starts crying. She's just, you're so pretty and I like you so much. I couldn't deal with it. It was so good. I've watched her like drunk Nicole scenes way too many times. It's way too funny. I really do hope we get more drunk Nicole this season. I don't know. At least I hope we get some more Wynonna and Nicole. Yeah. It was so funny and such a great episode. The next thing that I want to touch on before we get into sort of theories is, this sort of ties into theories, but not really. I want to talk about, like, Doc and the scene that he had with Wynonna when he's, like, telling her, like, all he wants, like, is for her to be happy and healthy. My emotions. I just adore Doc so much. My feels. Like, Wynonna, like, perfectly summed it up. She's like, you're an asshole. Like, he's an asshole for, like, making me, like, feel feels. How dare he? But yeah, so this sort of leads into the theories that I want to talk about, which were, like, there was two main things that we saw in this episode, which I want to talk about. Obviously, the two main things were, I guess, Doc and the whole BBD thing, the whole, like, old BBD still coming to find him, and then we also had the whole baby daddy saga. So Wynonna trying to figure out who the father of her child is, because there is two possibilities. We obviously know of Doc, and then we found out about the second possibility with her and Nicole going to the strip joint. It was the strip joint owner, I think, or I don't know, a bartender. He works there though. So they were I think the two main points. I'm going to start off with the BBD and Doc because I feel like I've got more solid answers for these, like more solid theories than the whole baby saga. So we'll get to that in a second. So we had like this storyline where it was like BBD ghosts, like legend BBD people came back and was trying to find Doc because he was wanted. You know, they needed to punish him for his crimes. So we start off the episode with like this young kid coming in and he's like, I finally found him. He's been decloaked. So Doc got decloaked somehow, and I feel like we know how. So as we know, last episode, Tucker killed Clutie. And people brought up some great points in my last video, like, how is that possible? Like, how is Doc still alive if Clutie's dead? Aren't they linked? And I believe, because I couldn't remember off the top of my head, I hadn't watched the episode in a while, but I believe Doc personally couldn't kill Clutie, right? Like, it was any sort of damage he personally inflicted onto Clutie was directly mirrored onto him, correct? But it seems that still doesn't have an effect. It doesn't mean that, like, obviously Clutie's now dead, and we're seeing sort of a what's the word that I'm looking for? We're seeing an effect on Doc. So, one, he's been decloaked. So I guess Clutie put on a cloaking spell, I guess. I would guess that she did it originally to hide him from Wyatt, right? That was the whole reason why she sort of made Doc immortal to begin with, because she wanted to hurt Wyatt. So she made him immortal and chucked him in a well to hurt Wyatt. So I assume she originally put on the cloaking spell to hide Doc from Wyatt, with any help that he might get from witches or whatnot. Now, obviously that's continued on, and I guess now that she's dead, the cloaking spell is dead with it. So that's how the old BBD people have finally been able to find them after like 135 years, I believe they said. So the next sort of clue, sort of look at the effects of Clutie's death to Doc is Doc might be sick again. As we know, Doc, like, did he die? No, he almost died. He was on his deathbed when Clutie put, like, the spell on him, like, gave him immortality. He was on his deathbed with, how do you pronounce it? Is it tuberculosis? Tuberculosis? So, now that she's dead, we did see him, like, coughing in this episode, which, you know, I guess you could just, like, put off as, you know, he's just coughing, but I don't know. It just seemed important, and it kind of, I'm worried that maybe now that Clutie's dead, he's now mortal again, and maybe his sicknesses are returning. I feel like these are pretty solid assumptions to make. So, good news about this is, it's not all bad news. Good news is, I did a quick Google search, so I'm not a doctor by any means, and my facts might be completely wrong because it's just a Google search. But from my quick Google search, so we know Doc nearly died from tuberculosis, but this was in the 1880s, right? 1880s was when he was cursed and thrown in the well. We have since found a cure for tuberculosis, and I believe that cure was found in 1940s. So they didn't have a cure back when Doc had it, but we do have one now. And the good thing is, apparently now it's like a 90% success rate of it working. You know, there's a 90% chance that you will overcome tuberculosis nowadays. So it's not all bad news if Doc is mortal again, and if he has got tuberculosis again, it's not as bad as in the 1880s. We now have modern medicine, which, if I'm correct in assuming that he does have tuberculosis, he should be okay. You know, he just needs to find some medicine, and it shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. I guess it also brings up some questions like, I don't know, I guess my question is like, will he start aging the 135 years that he's lived? Like, is he gonna start like, I don't know, those years catching up on him, like, all of a sudden? I'm hoping not. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's sort of like the whole freezing thing that the dude did. Just, like, time, like, he froze, I guess. And it's not gonna catch up with him because no time technically froze for him. I don't know. I'm hoping the 135 years that he's lived so far is not gonna be an issue, right? Hoping so. But I guess that's a question that we need to bring up. So I guess, yeah, that's more like solid theories, I think. In one of the sort of main things that I wanted to talk about this episode was Doc and the BBD. I mean, I really liked that BBD story. I thought it was really, really cool. And then, like, Dolls was just like found out, it was like his hero that he met in real life. And he kind of like outranked him in the end. It was great. Like, seeing him fangirl was amazing. So yeah, I think those are more solid theories in regards to Doc. We will see how they play out. Hopefully we don't get any more surprises with Doc, because I just need him to be safe and happy and healthy, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about is the The baby daddy saga. The baby daddy saga. That's a sentence to say. Baby daddy saga. So I tweeted something out earlier and I got some replies. So which I'm gonna talk about. As you guys know, oh my god, my light just like nearly died. Scared the shit out of me. As you guys know, we found out in this episode there is 2 possible dads for Wynonna's kid. We know Doc is a possibility, and we found out his name was Jonas. He works at the strip joint, and Wynonna slept with him in that episode that they killed the 7. And she got like hella drunk. So he is another possibility. I guess we don't know for sure who it is. And Nicole and Wynonna went to the strip joint to get some saliva samples to science it up and figure out like for sure who the dad was going to be. Honestly, I don't like until anything else is confirmed. Doc is the dad for me. I will not accept that Revenant dude as the dad. Never. Well, I will when it's like. If they legit like confirm it, then I will accept it. But until then, Doc is the dad because he is just precious and like, he'd be such a good dad. But I guess this whole finding out the dad for Wynonna's baby connects to Waverly and her sort of, her struggles that she's had after finding out that she might not actually be an Earp. And I feel like there was a lot of connections like hinted at this episode in regards to maybe some similarities between Wynonna's kid and Waverly. One of them being when Nicole was like talking to Wynonna. She says like this line specifically, talking about the Revenant. She's like, you're the Earp heir, he's a Revenant, so that means the baby is its R. And then Waverly calls and she's like, it's Waverly, oh boy. So like, we're talking about Emily here. She's a smart cookie. I feel like that was like, I personally feel like that was like a hint towards one possibility of Waverly's history, okay? So I guess let's look at the possibilities. And I feel like actually all of the possibilities that I have in my mind still have Waverly related to Wynonna. So they're still related in some way, whether it's like stepsisters or whatever. They're still related, which I'm happy about, you know? They're sisters till the end of time. I don't care what anyone says, they're sisters. So one of the possibilities is like exactly what's happening with Wynonna. An Earp heir slept with a Revenant and they had a kid. But that would still mean that Waverly is an Earp because, you know, an Earp heir, the Earp heir slept with a Revenant. So she's still got the Earp bloodline in her if that's one way of going. And we have been told, though it was from Bobo, that she is not an Earp. So I don't know whether Bobo is lying or that's not what happened. So like that possibility would be Ward. Ward was their dad's name, right? Ward slept with a Revenant and they had a kid, and then, you know, Waverly just became a part of the family and they didn't talk about the Revenant mum. And I feel like, honestly, that's the most likely to happen, right? Because they say, they mention in this episode that a human and a Revenant is not likely to you know, create a kid, you know, get pregnant. And I feel like for that to happen, there's got to be some special circumstances, right? So in this regard, Wynonna is the Earp heir. You know, that's the circumstance. She's the Earp heir. She's sort of this supernatural thing in itself. So I feel like a Revenant sleeping with just a human, I feel like, is it possible? But that leads on to the second possibility. A Revenant sleeping with Wynonna's mum. So we don't know much about the mum. She ran away at what age? I can't remember. But I don't believe she's dead. We might see her. I would really like to know more about the mum. But from what we know, she's human. So if she's human, then I feel like the likelihood of a Revenant getting a human pregnant is not very high. But then there's also a possibility that the mum was supernatural of some kind, a witch or something, who knows. I think that was like my original thought, that the mum had actually slept with a revenant. Because in that regard, like, Waverly would still be related to Wynonna, right? They'd still have the same mum, but she wouldn't technically be an Earp. The other theory that's been going around, I personally don't think this is gonna happen, but I found this out today when I tweeted out about my thoughts. People replied with this theory. Apparently, it's been going around a lot. This is the first I heard of it, but apparently people are saying that there's a possibility that the kid that Wynonna is carrying is actually Waverly. So if you guys have seen the preview or the promo for this coming episode, 208, Wynonna goes back in time. I believe we get a glimpse of Bobo, so yeah, I guess we're going to see Bobo. I don't know what time period she goes back to, because Bobo is old, so it could be any time period. But people are saying that Wynonna goes back in time and gives birth to Waverly back then, and then she comes back and Waverly grows up as normal. I personally don't think that's going to happen. One, time-wise, I believe Wynonna is going to be pregnant until the end of the season, right? Because Melanie gave birth like after the filming, right? So I think Wynonna is going to be pregnant until the end of the season. So if this time jump is just a 1 episode thing, time-wise, I don't think it's possible. 2, I don't know. I feel like that'd be really weird. I'm not on board that theory. But I guess I feel like we might get more of a clue, if not maybe an answer to Waverly's dad/mum in this time jump. Wynonna now knows that Waverly's been struggling with this sort of her history, and now that she's aware and she does this time jump, I guess, she might pick up on something. So yeah, there's theories, there's possibilities, yeah, I'd be like really curious to hear your thoughts on both, I guess, Wynonna, who you think the dad is, though I feel like it's not too much of an issue, I guess. Like, I feel like doesn't really matter who the kid's dad is, right? The kid's is gonna grow up with the family that it's got, right? So biologically, I don't think it matters too much about who the kid's dad is. Like I said, it's gonna be Doc until proven otherwise in my mind. But I guess I would like to know your thoughts on Waverly, her history, who she's related to. I feel like in all the possibilities I've got running through my head, she's still related to Wynonna in some way. I don't know in what situation Waverly would be a part of their family without actually being related somehow. But I suppose we'll find out. So yeah, I would really like to know your thoughts on, what's coming. It feels like we're building up to something big, and I'm so excited. So I hope you guys had a great day. I hope you guys have been enjoying Wynonna Earp so far. I hope you guys have been enjoying the San Diego Comic-Con weekend with all the Wynonna Earp pics, and it's been great. But I think that's about it from me. I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.